I spoke about Mourinho trying to take the pressure off Pogba. He's left him out of the team.
Well, that's taking the pressure off.
It's okay.
He doesn't have to play him. I think he's lost confidence in Pogba. I think Pogba, he described as the most complete midfield player when they bought him, but he just can't trust him. And he's an instinctive player, Dara. One of the things that you need to be when you're a midfield player, that you need to know what to do with the ball before it comes to you. Pogba doesn't know that. In fact, when he gets it, he's still trying to make his mind up, and we'll show a bit of that later on. So it's no surprise to me. He's taken him off in the last couple of league matches. They lost to Spurs and they lost to Newcastle, and he substituted him. I think Mourinho wants to play it tight tonight. He wants to get at least a draw, and he doesn't trust Pogba anymore.
Didi, listening to that, does that interview, he says it's not tactical, it's not a kind of throwback to the illness which ruled him out of the cup game at the weekend. Does that feed into the narrative that there's a rift between the two of them, that there's been a falling out, and as Liam says, he just doesn't trust the player anymore?
Well, I wouldn't read too much into what he just said, because it could be a bit of after effect, as he said, because he missed the game last weekend. But I think if you look the way it's progressed over the last 6-8 weeks. I think it's a long time since he played 90 minutes. Now, if you've got a player you want to build your team around, usually is the player you don't take off. You know, if you're winning the game 3 or 4-0, you take him off, but you certainly don't take him off when you're losing games, because he can be the guy to change games, and he showed it time and time again that he can do it. Unfortunately for United fans, he hasn't done it on a regular basis, and I think not all is well in the camp at the moment between Mourinho and Pogba. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen from now till the end of the season, because I think he's a type of player who needs the confidence, he needs the support of the team and the manager to really bring out the best in him. At the moment, that's not the case, and that's probably why we don't see the best of Pogba.
Like, Damien, you know this man. You played for him for a couple of seasons at Chelsea. You know, all the stuff that happened yesterday, he backs him in training, he brings the media in at the end of the press conference as opposed to the start, and all these things, which is kind of slightly out of the norm. They normally just film shots of drills and things like that. This is harmless stuff at the start. But like, are you surprised that Pogba has been left out by Mourinho tonight?
I am. Plainly and simple, just because of the player that's replacing him, McTominay. I know he's young, but I still think you have to play Pogba. You know, McTominay, yeah, he's young, he'll get about the pitch, but I don't think he's a Man United player. I don't think he'll be there in 2-3 years' time. But listen, I don't think it's him trying to make a statement or a power struggle. I honestly think Jose thinks that's the best team to go out and win the game tonight. But if you strip it back, Pogba for definitely the Newcastle game recently, the Spurs game, he has been awful, and Sevilla is a very, very tough place to go and play football. So the one word that jumps out at me that Liam's mentioned a couple of times is trust, and when I think of Mourinho, I always think he goes with 11 players that he trusts, and trusts with his life.
Well, you remember, Damien, sorry to interrupt, was Joe Cole there when you were there?
Yeah.
He wouldn't play Joe Cole. Joe Cole was that kind of off-the-cuff player. He wouldn't play him.
Yeah, and he looks for a reaction, and Joe probably wasn't a big player at the time, but it's interesting to see that he's still doing that with you could call a Galactico. He's treating him the same.
Well, he wants players to work and know their team responsibilities, and Pogba just doesn't fit the bill. Now, I don't know whether he's trying to distance himself from the signing, because when they did sign him, Manchester United wanted a marquee signing, and I think Mourinho was happy to buy into that because he was happy to be Manchester United manager. But now he's trying to distance himself from it. He's not a Mourinho kind of player, Darren.
But do you think Pogba can get this trust back with Mourinho? Like, the Chelsea game is on Sunday. There'll be even bigger attention on that now with himself not playing.
He has to play him in the right position. If you play him as a central midfield player and give him a central midfielder's responsibility, he's going to let you down. He's not that kind of player. So
well, we're going to look at this later over at the touchscreen. You feel he's better in that line of three behind the front.
Yeah, a free role.
As he had at Juventus.
Yeah, to give him a chance to get... As he had it, that's why they bought him. He had a tremendous season or 2 seasons at Juventus. Juventus got to the Champions League final, and I think Man United wanted a marquee signing, and they decided to pay 90 million for him.
If you bring a player like Pogba in, And you know, where we say now, and Liam is perfectly right when he says he's not a defensive or a midfielder who links up with other players and brings him into play and wins balls. He's never been the player. Surely Man United must have known when they bought the player that he's a guy that more freedom you give him, the better he will be. Played a huge part in Juventus getting to the final in 2015. Now, when you bring him in, if Man United, if you look at the team tonight and the bench, they've got some players who can make a difference in Lingard and Martial. If they want to go deep in their competition, you need Paul Pogba. And this is why I don't understand, because he won't get better. He won't get confidence back by not playing. This is why I find it strange, even if you may not be 100%, you've got to also show him that he's one of the main guys. Of course, something has to come back and he's got to play better and perform better. But I find it strange because if Pogba doesn't fire from now till the end of the season, I don't think United will go far in the competition. It could be the end of the road here.
You saw him there, last man out to go out into the warm-up at the stadium in Spain.